If I ask you to think of a big brand that does an incredible job with storytelling, with rich experiences, with really knowing who they are as a brand, who they serve, who they want to serve, and then packaging that up in winning campaigns, winning ideas, winning content, one of the brands that comes to my mind is REI. REI is killing it at this, and they have for many, many years. And so that is who we have on the show today. I'm ecstatic. We are going to be digging in actually this week and next week's episode with a behind the scenes with REI's leader himself and helping you hear how they think about storytelling, how they think about these rich marketing experiences. And today we're going to be digging into REI's brand spanking new Opt Outside campaign that is not launching on Black Friday, guys. It's launching in the summer. So let's get into it. Paolo Mottola is the Divisional VP of Brand Marketing at REI Co-op, an outdoor retailer and the largest consumer co-op in the U.S. with 23 million members. He leads marketing strategy, campaigns, partnerships, and brand marketing channels, including advertising, social media, and content marketing. He created and leads REI Co-op Studios, which develops and produces films, podcasts, and editorial programs to inspire audiences with transformative outdoor storytelling. And we're actually going to be digging into Co-op Studios and their internal team in next week's episode. So stay tuned for part 2 discussion next week. Paolo has contributed to REI's most renowned Cannes Lions winning campaigns, the hashtag Opt Outside and Force of Nature campaigns. His previous brand and communications work includes Microsoft, Samsung, U.S. Army, and Eddie Bauer. He's an alumnus and faculty of the University of Washington Communications Leadership Graduate Program and studied journalism at Western Washington University. Welcome to Marketing with Empathy, where we help marketers and business professionals create content that drives better business results, content that attracts and engages new and existing customers. How? By planning content through an empathy lens, positioning your customer as the hero and you and your brand as the guide that they want to buy from because you get them. I'm your host, Sarah Panus, and I understand how hard it is to juggle all the demands coming at you. As a content strategist and certified story brand guide, I have more than 20 years of experience creating winning content plans for brands of all sizes, including Sleep Number, Starbucks, Nestle Waters, Lindt Chocolate, SheFit, and numerous mid and small size businesses, helping drive millions of engagements and sales each year. And this podcast is in the top 5% of all marketing podcasts thanks to your support. So let's hear from today's sponsors and then jump right into my conversation with REI's Divisional VP of Brand Marketing, Paolo Mottola, to hear behind the scenes of how the Opt Outside campaign started and what it's evolved into, how REI taps into storytelling and why they do that, and what this brand new Opt Outside campaign that just launched is all about.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more to reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant. Plus, with 1 billion members on LinkedIn, that means you'll have access to 130 million decision makers and 10 million C-level executives. That's a lot of millions of the right people. Get started today and see how you can reach the right buyers with LinkedIn's enhanced targeting tools. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkis-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkisporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe.
Hello and welcome everyone to Marketing with Empathy. We are today going to talk about REI's new Opt Outside campaign. And yes, it is summertime and you may be wondering, isn't Opt Outside usually around Black Friday? Well, we're going to find out what they're up to this year and how you can benefit and learn as both a consumer, but obviously putting your marketing and your content hat on as well. Paolo, I'm so excited. I remember when you launched your first Opt Outside campaign way back in like 2015. And I was working for a really big retailer at the time. And the idea that you were closing all of your stores on Black Friday was, it was kind of nuts. It was really a disruptor, right? In the retail sector. Like nobody was doing that. Usually Black Friday, it's, extended hours, come shop at all hours of the day kind of a thing. But you guys were doing this with the message of framing it around so that your employees could get outside and enjoy the outdoors, and then encouraging all your consumers to do the same thing. It was such a disruptor moment, so smart. It was something now that you've continued to talk about every single year, and it morphs a little each year in terms of, how it comes to life, how you talk about it. But it's a great example of really staying true to what your brand stands for, which is that a life outdoors is a life well lived. And so it made sense, like when you guys did this, it didn't seem like it was a publicity stunt. That was, like out of left field just to get attention for a short period of time. It felt really true to who you are. And that's the true definition right there of marketing with empathy, right? Of being empathetic to who you are, to your employees and to your customers, and showing that. So I think about you guys, and I think tactically you're this retailer that sells outdoor gear like clothes and, sleeping bags and kayaks and bikes and things like that, right? But REI, you've tapped into that emotional power of living an outdoor lifestyle. And the products are really just the conduit to that lifestyle. From the stories and the marketing that you do, the products help make that lifestyle, that vision, a reality for your customers. And so just an excellent example of marketing with empathy. And I'm really curious, Paolo, what was most surprising to you guys regarding all the reactions that came out of those early Opt Outside campaigns? So were you hoping it would turn into this huge movement that it did, or were you just really focused on doing something good for your employees?
It's a great question, and it's some of the funnest work I've gotten to do at REI, and especially year one, because it was such a surprise to your point. It was not that big of an idea to start with, in full candor, right? I think we had been trying to find our way around the holiday season as a retailer for a few years there. And someone smarter than me kind of questioned, said, well, should we even be open on like a Black Friday? It's just crazy consumerism going on. That doesn't seem like that lines up with our values. And, there's a lot of risk from a business standpoint if we close our doors on Black Friday, but like maybe we should just do the right thing. And it was really rooted that the first year in doing right by our employees, right? So many of our employees are career retail employees. Maybe we're not the first retailer that they worked at, and they've been working, sometimes Thanksgiving, but certainly Black Friday for years and decades. And I remember when we communicated to our employee community that we're going to close on Black Friday, people were literally in tears. And it's because they hadn't had a long weekend over Thanksgiving holiday, in recent memory, right? They're sacrificing time with their family and friends and other schedules, that people get off. And that was the qualifier that we were doing the right thing. So we didn't know at that time that it was going to be the movement that it became, but we knew we were doing the right thing for our employees. And we said, okay, we got to do this and we got to keep doing it. And then sure enough, the marketplace and our customers and members responded, in a similar way, which is, this makes a ton of sense. I don't want to be in line. I want to be outside. This is time off that I get to have with my family and friends. I want to make memories, right? I don't want to be in line for a doorbuster. And so we've continued the tradition ever since. We're permanently closed on Black Friday. And to your question about what also surprised us, is how it took on a life of its own. So we're associated with Opt Outside. We're proud that it's a campaign that we invented and a message that we put out to the market and to our customers and members. But it's also just like a lifestyle. It's an attitude. When people go outside, they hashtag opt outside, and maybe some of them don't even know REI. But what we care about first and foremost is that they're getting outside, and they'll come to know us, and it's a way that they do. But it has become a movement, and it's become a symbol of a lifestyle and a choice to get out there, get in fresh air, and do that into the alternative, which is, being on the couch, doom scrolling on phones, being distracted, being on autopilot in life, and not making a choice to have time to, with your loved ones and in beautiful places that we have in this country. And I'm really proud to have been able to work on it all these years, and year 9 coming up on year 10.
Okay, so give us the scoop. What is coming for the next Opt Outside campaign that, as this episode is launching, just went live yesterday?
What we're offering this year is an Opt Outside campaign, and it's summer, right? This isn't a Black Friday moment, it's summertime. We want to celebrate the people who do make the choice to get outside. And we're doing that in a couple of different ways. First off, we're going to offer a ton of free classes and day tours around the country. So we're going to have free workshops at stores nationwide. And I mean, we're going to have 176 stores across the country offering over 450 sessions for free. So come on in, hang out with us. Let's talk about how to get you outside, skills and all sorts of things that you can learn across camping, backpacking, cycling, hiking, paddling, etc. So our stores are just going to be lit up with events and classes. And we're going to have free day tours in 14 markets. And so you can actually get out with REI employees and just have some fun with us. And all this is free. And it's just a way to celebrate, the summertime and the best time to get outside and the longest days in the year. And give people a way to get to opt outside. Sometimes it's you want to get outside, but you don't know how to, right? You don't know who to get together with. Maybe that's just not part of your friend group, or you're new to where you live, right? And just want to go out and mingle. We're going to create that opportunity for our customers and members in our markets, which is super exciting. We also have a partnership with Hip Camp, which you may or may not have heard of. That's a platform where you can book campsites. So we know it's really hard and competitive to book your favorite campsite every year. And there's actually a shortage of inventory at state and national parks for camping. It's really competitive and hard to do. Hip Camp is a way that private landowners can offer up their land as campsites, which is really fun. So we're partnering with them on a Summer of Magic campout series where you go to their website, hipcamp.com, and you apply and you get some free campsites that are released that you get access to. And those can be really beautiful open public lands, some more backyard style camping, but across, road tripping you want to do, or fishing or swimming or camping with your dog. They're going to have a lot of really amazing places where you can go in addition to your local, state, county, and national parks. And so those are just a couple ways that we're going to light up the summer and make sure that everyone has a chance to opt outside and have places to go and people to do it with.
Okay, fun. And you usually offer classes and workshops, but they're not usually free, right? Normally you have to pay a fee to get access to the experts and the experience and the learnings and things. So exciting that you're launching all of these free ways that people can get outside, learn how to do it, or actually, take the steps to do it. I didn't know about your day tours, though. Is that always a thing that's offered, or is that something new with just this summer Opt Outside program?
It is. So we have in many markets across the US classes for sure, day tours, and then also multi-day experiences. And so you can, look, if you don't own any camping gear, you can show up at an REI signature campground, like truly empty-handed, and we will get you all kitted out to camp, and we will feed you like a gourmet meal, right? So, come one, come all, any kind of camping style. It doesn't have to be backcountry by any means. We've got all sorts of activities, and that includes cycling trips, paddling trips, you name it. You want to do it for a couple hours or a couple weeks. We've got deep itineraries at some of the most beautiful places across the country and many of our national parks to help get people out there, because sometimes you want that guided experience, right? You don't want to create your own itinerary, and we get that. And so our REI Experiences program does that for you, and something to check out.
So who would you say these classes and workshops and day tours are geared toward? Is it more for singles, couples, families, like everything in between?
We have classes for everyone. So we have classes, sometimes they are actually like gender-based. We know that sometimes we've got classes that are more comfortable for groups of women to do together instead of mixed gender. We've got classes that are for people that are trying to figure out something for the first time. We'll teach people how to ride a bike. That's one of our most popular classes, actually, is teaching kids and adults just how to ride a bike. And I've been there as a parent where I'm a little frustrated with my little, and we're trying to keep it moving, and we just need help. So we offer those kinds of classes too. And then we definitely have more technical classes like wilderness first aid, or how to prepare for a through hike, like a multi-month through hike. So whether you are novice and new to the outdoors, or trying a new activity, or very experienced and you're an ounce counter, as we like to call it, someone who's highly technical, we can run the gamut and just help people get to next. We just care about progression and people wanting to stay engaged, and we're going to meet them wherever they are in their outdoor journey and skill set.
Oh, I love it. I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my kids this summer too, for outside activities. So I'm definitely going to check these out and see if there's any that we can go and do together. It really speaks to me as a mom. And then, smart idea, right? Opt outside in the summer. Great time to enjoy all the beauty across the country, and the weather's pretty good in the summer for most places. So where do people go to find these classes and workshops and day tours?
You just head to rei.com and you're going to find everything there. We've got it front and center, as well as when you go in store. REI stores are really cool. We've got, it's kind of old school handwritten signage and chalkboards, and like everything's on the wall, and there's always someone there in a green vest that's willing to point you to the next class or event, and call your local store if that's easiest for you as well.
Okay, as we wrap things up, Paolo, I want to ask you for your advice, because Forbes and Fast Company both recently gave REI some impressive accolades. Fast Company listed you guys as one of the most innovative marketers of 2024, and Forbes named you the #1 best brand for social impact. So congrats, huge accolades. A lot of people listening right now are having a hard year, or maybe they've had a hard couple of years because of the poor economy. I hear it all the time. Many are trying to keep their content and their marketing budgets intact while finding ways to operate more efficiently, driving good results, So when it comes to content marketing, what advice can you leave people with today that may help them as we're all navigating through this difficult economy right now?
It's a great question, Sarah. A lot of marketers are challenged with this question of brand or demand. Like it's a binary, right? When we're in a tough economy and consumers are really watching their wallets. And I'll say a couple things. First, brand building does drive demand, right? Like when you're building brand, you're driving brand choice, you're appealing to a customer, you're growing your customer, and that has an effect on the bottom line, has an effect on you driving your mission as a brand, which so much of that for us as a co-op is about also driving our impact. And if you think about storytelling or content marketing in the context of building brands, you're building durable assets that you can rely on over time, right? Every time you're building a story, you're attracting a customer, you're building loyalty, you're probably delivering also a story or a piece of content that's going to resonate not just at that moment in time it publishes, but for months to years time. I mean, I think about some of the content investments we've made, and maybe, some of the content that is more elemental to our business, like how to tie a climbing knot or how to link turns on skis. Like those are getting searched constantly. They're being consumed year round, and we know that that's driving some loyalty or some preference for our brand and our business. And when you're challenged as a brand and you're trying to find differentiation and ways to compete, I think there's no better way to do that than storytelling, than reminding people what you stand for and resonating at an emotional level with your customers. empathizing with your customers about where they are and what their challenges are, and delivering that through a story, through a character, through a place, and through a transformation that is a deeper connection and a higher valued impression than just another transactional message, right? There's a ton of space for those transactional messages. They occur in the customer journey at the right place at the right time. But if the customer isn't tuned into your business or product or services, you can capture them with a story and something emotive, then I think that's going to serve your business now and over time. And we see in our data that customers come back to our stories, our most emotive stories, like it's like a repeat playlist on Spotify. Like they're coming back and rewatching those things to get re-inspired, to like re-immerse themselves in maybe the outdoor culture that they got disconnected with, or they went on autopilot for a while and like just need to be disrupted and remind themselves of what they care about. And if your brand is the one delivering those stories that help recalibrate people and help them feel like they're living the lifestyle they want, I think you're in a very defensible, durable position as a brand and a business to attract and keep that customer for a longer period of time than maybe the economic cycle that we're in right now.
Ooh, I've never heard anyone talk about content as a durable asset. I love that quote. Building durable assets you can rely on over time. That is one to write down, everyone. You write that down and bring into your meetings and memorize it, because that's a brilliant way to frame it, because it's true. It's true depending on the content that you're making. That content can have a shelf life of years and years and years of value for the company, both helping drive and attract new people, re-engaging existing customers. I mean, I've been part of organizations where the content we created even helped reduce call center volumes. There was cost savings because less people were calling and we didn't have to hire as many people to pay them to answer all of those questions. I mean, there's so much value with content and answering and serving, like you said earlier, serving your members, making sure you have the foundational pieces with your content that you're serving them, and then building on that. Okay, that's a good place to stop and wrap up our first conversation, Paolo. To connect with Paolo, look up Paolo at REI on LinkedIn, and you'll find him there. To see all the great opt-outside things you can do this summer alone or with your family or friends, plus the products you need to get outside this summer, head into one of REI's 180 local stores across the U.S. and tune in next week, where Paolo and I are going to have a separate conversation where he's going to give us a behind-the-scenes look at their internal content production and strategy group called Co-op Studios and how that works at REI. Until next week, God bless.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Robbie Samuels hosts the On the Schmooze podcast. Robbie, tell listeners what to expect from the show.
Since 2015, I've interviewed entrepreneurs who overcame challenges to achieve success in their field or industry. Tune in to On the Schmooze to listen as I ask deep questions to elicit untold stories about leadership and networking.
And where can people subscribe?
Find the show at ontheschmooze.com or on marketingpodcast.net, or just search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard them. Go subscribe.